Welcome back here to the Columbia Cougars Coaches Show on Mediacom Channel 22 as we are in another portion of the Southwell Complex, and this is the men's locker room for the Columbia Cougar basketball squad. Another office in a lot of ways for you guys, one that isn't seen by a lot of people, and we thought it'd be kind of fun to take people on a little bit of a tour of some different parts of what is the Cougar athletic program and the basketball team, and take us through a little bit about this environment in here. Obviously at halftime is where a lot of the work gets done in this locker room.
Well, I think a lot of work gets done throughout the season, not just during basketball games. This truly is a sanctuary for your team. We try to make it as comfortable as possible for them. But this is where a lot of discussion takes place, some problem solving takes place, maybe some leadership skills take place, really without the coach being present. And I, to be honest with you, try to stay out of here as much as possible, particularly when it comes to doing laundry. But I really, Cosmo, on purpose, just because I do think it's a kind of a player's place. When we get into games, though, then we're here so we can be focused and make adjustments and make changes to what the game plan might be or what it turns out to be after halftime.
Adjustment-wise at halftime, again, you hear about it a lot of times on the radio broadcast, the webcast, when you're watching basketball on TV, about how a team has adjusted or come from behind and made different adjustments with their strategy at halftime. I know Mike Davis and the ladies the last couple times have had some interesting closing out of first halves, and longer times in the locker room they come out and put on a great second half. The marker board here is a lot of demonstrating, a lot of coloring, a lot of, not coloring, but play design, maybe, or showing what's going on, connecting the dots. Again, that really it becomes, like I said, another office for you. The sideline moves into here as far as with the players in this room.
Maybe another classroom as well.
There you go. That's
because a lot of teaching does occur. And typically, you allow a team during a halftime period to have some time together so they communicate. And then coaches have time together so they can communicate. And then you really focus on maybe 3 or 4 things that you really want to change. And I mean, that's, you know, for our attention span, that's about all you get, is about a 3 or 4 minute, talk about what you're going to actually get done. And then every now and then there's some motivational things that take place.
Well, you hear different things, like with the Super Bowl, you talked about a couple of the injured players were talking to their teammates. That happens in here, but typically, halftime, the horn sounds, the guys come down the tunnel. Do the coaches address first right away, or do you guys kind of have your huddle first together and then talk to the team, or how does that kind of timeline play?
We give them a good 5 or 6 minutes to be together, the team, and that gives us time. We get stats, and so we get a chance to look at the stats and try to get some information from that. But then also to talk and take notes ourselves. Okay, what did you see? What do you think the key points are? And we hope that the team is doing the same thing, that they're just communicating together as well. And it's really a pretty quick time period. It goes pretty fast. And sometimes you can lose a game in a halftime too. A lot of times it's nice to come in with some big momentum.
Sure.
And then sometimes if you really come in on a negative, then your halftime is more negative, and that's not the way you'd like it to be. And it is a time game. Basketball is a time game, and so it's very important to play the whole 40 minutes, and it's very important to come out at the start of game and the start of a halftime as strong as you can.
Hannibal LaGrange is up next on your schedule. You had them here, beat them here, now you go to their place. Take us through what you expect with the Hannibal LaGrange Trojans.
I think it's always dangerous for us. It's a decent road trip, so we have a lot of fans that get to go, which is nice. But Hannibal is really had a good matchup against our teams in the past. I think they're very well coached, and they've always made it difficult. And I think any road game in conference play is a challenge. And for everything that, in terms of what teams know about you, to environment, to fans being interested, to just different gyms, so in any road game, any road win you can ever get in our game, particularly in conference play, is huge.
And I know the last victory was one that several of you guys weren't happy that they were able to get over that 50-point mark that you guys have set as you're one of the top teams in the country in defense and keeping the other team off the scoreboard, and that was one that you beat them handily, but they did get over that 50-point mark, and that, I don't know if that's a little extra motivator, kind of factors in a little bit more for the players, probably not than.
Yeah, but it's a real challenge, Cosmo, and it's a challenge to defend, and it's really a challenge on the road, just because your opponent's home court is protecting the home court and play better and more comfortable, and so we're looking forward to that competition as we do every one of our conference games.
And this is the last several games in the conference as we head down the stretch here. Again, Park in the lead in the conference, at least at this time. But tell us a little bit about the rest of the schedule for the conference, and then.
Well, we've had a fascinating conference season just because of the weather,
Right.
And so we've had cancellations, and we've had several one-game weeks, and then because of cancellation, and this coming up week it'll be a 2-game week, and then following that will be a 3-game week, and then you jump right into tournament play. So we're going to compress 5 games here in a real short period of time. And I think our guys are going to like that, to be honest with you, and they'll get them in a competitive rhythm. They're all dangerous games for us. Tough trip to Williams Baptist, tough trip to Harris Stowe. Missouri Baptist gave us a great game. So we expect every one of these games to be highly competitive.
And the game coming up on the 26th, the big alumni game, and there'll be a lot of friendly faces back here in the Southwell Complex, many who haven't seen the new look Southwell Complex and the Kepke Fitness Center as well. So that'll be fun to show that off to a few of those guys and see some of the old players again and have a great time.
I think that's the most fun thing for me, Cosmo. Of course, I've been around for a while, but when you have your former players come back and watch. And we've been very fortunate that we have a lot of those alums go and show up at our away games. And so it's always fun to see the guys. They always have an opinion, and they always share their opinion. And if they can't get you later, they send you an email and share their opinion. And it's just really special.
Well, we appreciate you letting us come out of the normal settings and kind of take a tour of the Southwell Complex and a home game for you, so to speak, instead of across town to the TV station. But again, the Cougar locker room here, as you've seen some other sights and sounds. And of course, you can see more through the Cougar website as well, ColumbiaCougars.com. But the Cougars, again, they're down the stretch here in the AMC Conference. All the stats, standing scores, more online at ColumbiaCougars.com. Bob Burchard, head coach and athletic director, thank you for your time on this episode. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Cosmo.
All right, Bob Burchard, the Cougars coach. We'll see you here at the Southwell Complex for the next Cougar home games. You've been watching the Cougar Coaches Show on Mediacom Channel 22.